Yes, I work for the national answer like choosing the open source software or choosing the software is pretty important for us, and that's why we have developed this system for evaluation of projects. In this presentation, I will have objectives of matter, some key factors there, we will go through the benefits, and we have success stories, which are pretty obvious for this open source conference. There's some things to work. Then we have summary and conclusion, and time for questions. Okay, so why does open source matter for the organization like us? There is the cost effectiveness aspect, customization and flexibility, interoperability and standardization. Open source can be transparent and can be secure. There is collaborative innovation possibility. We can become vendor independent. We do things alone by ourselves. There can be a long-term support and sustainability for the software. And of course, there is this public value and open data. It's very important for the geo community here. I've put some question mark here because we can't be sure if the open source software is cost effective or the ROI is going to be low for the selection. There's anyway between the cost of labor or expertise. We can't be sure if it's going to be interoperability. You can use the interoperability, or if it's going to follow the standards. And there is no guarantee that there's going to be long-term support. How do we know that? And that's why we do those evaluations, that we can become better guessing those things. So there are some benefits for the maturity assessment and some objectives for that. So we can find out the quality and reliability for our critical operations. We are a national organization that we are legally obliged to do some data collection that needs to be reliable and available. We can learn if the value of the software is going to be good. We can build trust and confidence in those projects when we do these assessments. We identify opportunities to contribute data, perhaps our own. And then we can help others learn the benefits of open source software. And the objectives are there to evaluate these things. And then, of course, the really important thing in the model is ensure the compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. It's a little bit small in there. You can download the presentation afterwards. There are already some standards and practices that I found from the internet. I have some sheets here to remember what this means. But anyway, you can find this information from the website, searching them. Most of them are for evaluating organizations' ability to adopt open source software, or for the open source project to evaluate themselves if they are good enough to be adopted by, for example, Apache or Apache, if they are as good as the other Apache. Some are question-based, that we will ask some questions, and some are include some boxes that have the results. First part in our way is to address the quality and sustainability. We need to check the code quality and the documentation, how they are built. What is the community engagement? How is the support for the software? How is the project governed? Who is in the leader position? How often do they release new software or update their software? And the licensing part is actually in red. And I think it's because I have a separate select for that. I don't remember why I'm having it in red. And then of course, need to see how the project handles security issues and vulnerabilities. Role of community is very important. So we need to learn how is there really a community behind the project. So it's not just a single guy doing so very important mission critical software, mission critical part of our system. So if it is, then how do we convince ourselves to choose that software? How is the collaboration working there? Is there new things coming up? How are the users supported? Feedback gotten back there? How do they respond to issues and requests? And how do they contribute to the long-term viability of the project?
Sorry, we need the mic closer to
A
you.
little bit, okay. And is there some networking in other partnerships with other communities or companies or so on? Third point, this is the license and terms of use, which is very important and very complicated part. We would need to compare the licenses to our legal requirements in the country. Varies between each country, so I can't give any hints there. Are they protecting their intellectual property rights? Or if we build something on top of that system, can we keep our intellectual property protected? Is there some usage restrictions that we use in commercial work? How it's compatible with other licenses? And there is also risk of vendor blocking even in an open source ecosystem. It's really difficult to change something if it's more big systems of those. And is it encouraging contribution to collaboration? There's a little list of existing open source licenses. You probably know more about this than me, and I don't know if these are correct or not. I found this information from the internet. But that's something that we have a special guys in our house that know these things, and I don't have to know each detail about the license, but it's really important to check this, especially when we're working on a national organization or the same negotiable companies. So it could be in big trouble if we need to change something because of the licenses. Fourth part is the importance of documentation and guidance in the help pages or the project pages. There needs to be clear and comprehensive documentation where it helps. It's good that we have nice developer and user guides, API documentation examples, support. The legal and compliance documentation is important too because of the license part. And it's nice if they have a contribution document, so how can you, as a user, start contributing? This is a list of questions from Jukka Raattonen, who is here in this conference too, but I asked the permission for him to ask this. What questions do you need to ask when you are evaluating open source project for yourself. How long has it been in existence? How many users? How is it funded? Is there significant funders? Any other organizations using it? Good reputation? How many developers? Is there only one person in charge? Is there contact information for the developers? Are there many open bug reports? Does the program receive support from the user community? Is there commercial support? Is it available in your country? How long does the program or project remain functional if it's developed and where it ceases today? Would there be enough time to find a replacement solution? That's an important question when these on top of others. Then there was this comparison. We need to compare these two open source projects to each other, and there were very good candidates to each other, and use these steps to do that decision. And then in the end, the first week we just evaluated the user, the capabilities of the software, like point to point, and it was really difficult to compare. It became into like ongoing support, so this was the specific reason why we chose one over the other. Something like this is probably too small again to read there. We have this criteria. This is just examples like what's the project activity, how active is it, community engagement, documentation, guidance, licenses, terms of use, code quality, testing, security, long-term sustainability, integration and compatibility, and just scored them 1 to 5 for each project. It was one way. Of course, hundreds of user requirements need to be compared. There was no significant difference between either one. So there's probably a very good or very bad place to have this presentation because we have so many good examples of success stories on the open source side presented here. We have this GIS, QGIS, QField, PostgreSQL, GeoServer, Linklet, JDL, and all these very successful GeoSoftware that are open source. And I guess we like. And of course, there's Linux and Python, Kubernetes, who are open success stories. Okay, so what we've talked about is the importance of open source in government organizations, which is pretty obvious. We are committed to open source in national and survey. We are using open source and we are using open source. And I hope more governments adopt this as well. And we had some objectives needed for the maturity assessment. Listed some standards. We had a little slide about sustainability assessment, role of community, a little about those licensing considerations, documentation, guidance for user-friendly process. And then we have the list of those success stories.